Talking about the greatest directors working today, for some reason I always seem to forget Guillermo del Toro, a master in gothic dark fantasy movies. Pan's Labyrinth, Pinocchio, The Shape of Water, Nightmare Alley, the list goes on and on. Guillermo del Toro has continued to solidify himself as a visionary, and when I heard that it was going to take on the new Frankenstein project, I thought, who better than him? So I'll preface this by saying that, regrettably, I'm not a huge Frankenstein aficionado. I haven't seen as many of the classic movies as I would have liked, but I understand the general premise of Frankenstein. So this new modern retelling has a lot riding on it, since it does take this titular character, this iconic figure in the horror genre, and bring it into a modern retelling of it. So with any great movie, how is the acting? How's the cast? How's the characters? That's really one of the fundamental aspects of this movie, the actual performances. We have Jacob Elordi as the creature, we have Oscar Isaac as Victor Frankenstein, along with Christoph Waltz, and Mia Goth, along with other supporting actors. All of them play their characters so incredibly well, and when I first heard that Jacob Elordi was going to play the creature, I was a little pessimistic, to say the least. I think that he's a good actor. He's good in Saltburn, he's good in Euphoria. He kind of plays that heartthrob kind of character in a lot of these. You know, just the good-looking, kind of cool guy. But this is completely out of that realm. This is playing Frankenstein himself, a complete unit of a character, and someone who isn't reliant on the looks, more so the actual heart that's inside the character. But I'll just jump right to it and say that I was proven dead wrong. I think Jacob Elordi did a fantastic job playing the creature / Frankenstein. He brought a lot to the role, and it's almost a minimalistic role, but there's a lot to it. While the character may not speak a lot in the scenes, it's a lot of movement, it's a lot of caricature, and he totally knocked it out of the park. He cooked with this one. His counterpart, like I mentioned, is played by Oscar Isaac, playing Victor Frankenstein, his creator. So this is also an incredibly important role in the movie as the man who decided to play God, this genius character that knows so much and is actually able to create Frankenstein. So, how did Oscar Isaac do? Well, I think this is a phenomenal performance from him as well. I think that both of these titular characters needed to be at the top of their game, and sure enough, Oscar Isaac also brings it. And this one is a lot more of an emotive role, a lot more emotion, and a lot of more range and feelings, rather than Frankenstein, two completely different types of acting styles, yet they complemented each other so well in the movie, at least in the scenes that they were in. So this madman, almost borderline evil, if you will, I don't want to spoil too much, but yeah, this is Oscar Isaac's best performance in my opinion. I've seen him in a lot of different movies, Inside Llewyn Davis, Star Wars, stuff like that. I haven't seen all his movies, but from what I've seen, I think that this is his best character. He really knocks it out of the park, and you just really feel the range of emotions that come from him, especially with his interactions with the other characters and his own descent into madness. Alongside him, Christoph Waltz is a brilliant actor. He's good in everything I've seen him in, so that's no different, along with Mia Goth as well. She is a very complicated character in the movie, and Mia Goth has such great range and screen presence. I fell in love with her acting style from X and Pearl, that trilogy, so yeah, she's no different. I feel like her face and everything is perfect for sort of a gothic period piece like this one, especially in the horror genre. She's screaming to be in one of those movies for sure. So really the whole cast is phenomenal. They all play off each other very well and really push the story forward. Which brings me to the next point, the story. So Guillermo del Toro is so good at telling a story. His way of crafting these dark premises, almost with a sense of innocence and humanity in them, is quite genius. I always feel like all his movies have a heart to them. A pumping heart in the middle of the story, as dark as things may be, as more gothic and melancholy as it might seem. Somehow he's able to pull out the humanity, and this is no different, especially in a character like Frankenstein. He's able to sort of explore that and show you from his point of view, and what Guillermo del Toro does in this one is really creative and quite fantastic, honestly. He tells the story from two different perspectives. We have Victor Frankenstein and his upbringing, which ultimately motivates him to create Frankenstein, and you really get to see from his point of view growing up as a child and into adulthood how his experiences shaped him to the madman that he became. And then we have the perspective of the creature himself and what he goes through and what he's feeling. It's really an amazing contrast. I feel like you really get to see the motivation behind the two characters. It really makes you care for both of them. As crazy as some of the stuff that they do, especially Victor Frankenstein, by doing this, it actually lets the audience relate to them in some sort of way, or at least give them a motive behind their actions. And it's such a brilliant little touch of storytelling, and really makes the movie so well-rounded, in the sense that you have these two direct halves, one from one character, one from the other character, and then it kind of just comes together in the end. I really love that, and Guillermo del Toro has this sense of storytelling, like he's almost like he's telling the audience the story if you were to open up a book and how you read out on a campfire. That's how his movies play out. I don't know how to describe it, but that's just how it feels. You know that you're watching a master at work, and you know that you're in good hands, and he's completely nailed the whimsical fantasy style that all his movies seem to have, and this one's no different. Truly, if you're a fan of his previous movies, you will definitely like this movie a lot. Now, a couple of things that maybe are criticisms is the pacing in some of the sections is a bit slow. So if you're not into that, you might have a problem with the runtime, because it is 2.5 hours. So, you know, it does slow down in certain aspects, and perhaps for me the ending was missing just a little bit. In my opinion, I feel like I wish there was more of a direct conclusion, but ultimately I was very satisfied with the end. That's one of the things that so many movies get wrong nowadays, is the end of a movie, and this one does a great job at closing it up. So while I wish there was a little bit more, I really can't complain too much, and it's great. And the pacing, again, is a little slow at times, but the movie just keeps flowing. It really keeps moving forward a lot of time. They aren't wasting any time. Everything moves the story forward like great storytelling. And the score and the cinematography is also great. The actual visuals are fantastic. That's a whole nother Pandora's box, if you will, in a good way. You know, like all his movies, the visuals are a character in themselves, and this one is no different. This gothic era, this period piece, everything they wear, everything that they're using, all the experiments, it's great scenes with that, great effects. You know, I love that. I absolutely love it. So visually speaking, it's also a brilliant movie. The prosthetics and everything they do for the creature themselves, played by Jacob Elordi, again, he's unrecognizable, honestly. So yeah, just great visual storytelling. The sound design is also fantastic. And yeah, this is just a great movie. It's coming out in Netflix in a couple of days from now, about a week from now. So, you know, if you weren't able to catch it in the select theaters, definitely check this one out if you like his previous work. I'm also a little surprised that they didn't have a wide theatrical release. You know, I had to drive a little bit to actually see this one, but I'm glad I did. It's definitely a movie worth watching in the big screen. So if you can, I would suggest watching it. Loud, great sound design, great visuals. Yeah, definitely worth seeing on the big screen. But ultimately, was very satisfied with this one. I came out of the theater with everything that I expected from a Guillermo del Toro movie like this. Frankenstein seems like the perfect project for him to take on. It's just that perfect level of horror and gothic and mystery and fantasy that a lot of his movies have. So yeah, a great cast, great director behind this, and a really great movie experience. So I give this movie 8.7 Frankensteins out of 10. If you enjoyed this video and want to see other reviews and content just like this, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the Discord if you want all the latest announcements and talking with your fellow movie lovers. Click the screen to check out last week's video, and thank you very much for watching.